with all the electronics. We're good? Okay. I got 7:03. Let's start the party. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to Budgets Can Be Fun on an otherwise cold night. So tonight we have, leading off, apologies that my binder sticks open at times, but we have Seymour Events, I believe, is first up on the agenda. So whomever.
You want to start? What's up, right?
Yeah,
Events.
if you're Seymour Events, you can start. If you're not, just sit there.
So, this is my first time presenting a budget ever. So I brought my wife to help me. She'll kick me, whatever. What can I tell you?
I don't know.
I'll go right down the line. This is what you have on your thing. I guess we took a couple, programs this year. We had fireworks under the selectmen's thing, and we put that over into the events. The last few years, we were able to do Christmas lights under some leftover money, and also the scary lawns, because we didn't have a parade the following year. And the first year in 2019, we had a Christmas parade. So I'll break it down. This year, Memorial Day Parade, after meeting with them, they're gonna, we're going to ask for $1. We have enough money for the Memorial Day Parade to run for the next 2 to 3 years in our accounts. After having our meeting, they're gonna write a check over to the town for our balance and close that account, and the same thing that the Christmas Day Parade is doing. We have a couple $1,000s left in that. I believe the Memorial Day Fund has $30,000 or $40,000 in it total. I'm just saying, we're gonna write a check to the town, and then the town will be handling that money going forward. Scary Lawns, it's about $1,500 to run that program. Christmas holiday lights, about $2,550. The bulk fireworks is about $14,500. So what we're asking for is $28,333. The other money.
What?
No.
Back up. Your
That part,
your fireworks are 14.5,
yes.
and then you've got something 175 anniversary?
Yeah, that was on the top line, I said, and then the additional, we're asking for an additional $28,000 to put away for the 175th anniversary, which would make a total $56,884. I broke it up 2 seconds, what we have going on,
Mm-hmm.
what
Okay.
we need to make the events go forward, and then ask to put money away for the 175th anniversary. So in 3 years, when we want to have the event, we don't come in front of the board and say, oh, we need $100,000 or $75,000. So I thought they were starting this a few years ago when I talked about it, but I apparently not didn't start saving any money.
The event committee came in front of the board of selectmen a couple of years ago, asking for money to be set aside each year
Okay.
for this, but each year has been getting put off. I recognize the difficulties of this year, so what Alex is trying to say is we're just recommending this for this year. If it's not put aside, what the selectmen would like to do for the 175th is gonna end up being more next year, so it's really just, we don't care when the funds come, really, we're just expressing it's probably going to cost this much, X amount
Mm-hmm.
at the 175th. We're recommending that we put money aside each year.
Understood.
Not one each year,
Understood.
1 year.
Okay.
But trust your board to make that decision as we go. And the Memorial Day Fund, I just want to point out there are funds there because we didn't have three. We only requested $1. I don't know if it's still required, but we kept $1 in there to keep the line item.
Yeah, to keep a line item open, you want at least $1 in it. So then you've got a line
But
item
we
you can
don't
do
need it
stuff
this
with.
year, But obviously want to make sure we
Yeah.
need it coming years.
Understood.
That item's obviously going to go up.
Okay. Thank you.
I did send the copy to you guys. I broke down exactly what we paid for this year's parade, for the Christmas parade. So there was no surprises. We went through the checkbook and just wrote everything down for you.
Okay. All right. gonna be a heck of a party for the 175th, huh?
Well, I mean, it was, when they talked about it, I really didn't have, this, at the time, what things cost. So I talked to, our fireworks people, and they said this, unfortunately, he said fireworks will be doubling. Up to 30% this year because we have a national shortage of fireworks apparently too now. Everything you talk to is a national shortage of everything. Parades, I figured around 15,000. I don't know how much more we're gonna be, doing for the 175th anniversary. Street banners, a couple other open houses, band, the carnival, and the 175th books, mugs, souvenirs. I just put up $15,000.
24 days open house?
Well, I'm
What
thinking.
what is that?
What I'm thinking of, June 24th is our anniversary date.
Okay.
I'm thinking about doing 24 days in June. So to go to every night in June, starting on June 1st, to every night, go to a different venue. Citizen, Great Hill, Philanthropist, Town Hall, the library. So Public Works, they have open houses for people to come and have a small little gathering. So I'm thinking about having food, having the 24 days of June.
It's like the 12 days of Christmas. I
Yeah,
get you.
but something that we could see, people could see everything in Seymour. It was just a suggestion.
And just so I'm gonna listen for
Go ahead.
that one more time. The upcharge, we did add a percent, Alex, what did we add as a percent?
7%.
Because it was shot, I was one of the biggest questioners this year of the parade. Their costs have gone up, so where we were just paying some of the bands $100 and some odd $200 to attend the parade, they have tripled or quadrupled their price to
On
attend.
some of them,
So
yes.
just so you understand why you see such a spike there, it's because of what they're charging the events committee to actually show up and attend.
No, understood. I mean, everything's going up, and you've got inflation and everything
I
else.
didn't
So.
want you to think it was an arbitrary number.
Okay.
That's it.
Any questions for the committee at all? On anything? Okay.
Good to
Well,
me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Alex.
Let's see, we've got next. Library. We have the library next.
Yay.
Just have to find where it is in the book. 13. Hi.
Hi, Suzanne Garvey, I'm the director of the library, and we are represented by some of our board members as well. So for our budget, and there's a big change to the budget that I'm gonna mention now.
Good or bad?
Good. Well,
Okay.
bad for us, good for you.
Oh,
In lieu of the money that we now know the town is going to be putting out, the library board of directors decided to pull out of the $500,000 capital grant request. So they are not asking for that one.
oh, good. Thank you.
Yes. And also, we are reducing the request for a part-time person to one. But I'll go through the beginning of the budget. So you'll look and you'll see that we do have what the Worcester Fund is expected to bring to us this year. We have two endowments. And that is $60,000. That's not verified yet, but it should be soon. The Hamel Fund, which is specifically for the use of books and reference materials, is $45,000, and that we do know is going to be coming to us next month. I did throw down the statistics. Of course, we're in COVID. We're doing about half of what we normally do each month. But, we're all working toward a goal. So for the salaries, library director salary, the regular employees, that actually is a union contract. So I believe that those numbers, I did talk to Doug. Doug said when it came to the regular employees, that's a rough estimate. The salary part-time employees, well, I should have deducted, that would be exactly half of that. So about $12,500. And we do want to provide more programming in the library and to use the downstairs programming areas more. We've made it through COVID, we've made it through the construction. We're really wanting to service the population now, and we need an extra staff member. We only have 2 scheduled on Saturday. then the extra staff member, part-time, could go downstairs and run programs. That could also be on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings too. I do run some programs. Rebecca, the head of Children's Services, also runs programs. The programs that we expect to offer: computer gaming and board games, music programs, coding and computer help, makerspace, sewing, movies, arts and craft, and an increased amount of story times. The union contract wage is $16.07 per hour for a part-time library person, and if they were scheduled for 15 hours, that would basically be about $12,535 a year. When it comes to repairs and maintenance, we are removing that request, the capital request. Then when it comes to the regular line items, salary, library pages, we're asking for $12,000 to stay the same. $640, the books and periodicals, we're asking for $5,000 also to stay the same. Machinery and equipment, $4,120. This pays for the library copier and other equipment that we use. We're asking for that to stay the same. And also $745, machinery and equipment, $31,000. That's for the Lunation, our ILS server, and that we'd like to stay the same. Any questions?
Anyone?
Thank you.
I have an observation.
Okay.
Given, let's call it, given the numbers that the town is producing, I would ask that you go back to the trustees and seriously consider tapping the Worcester Fund.
They actually have. I mean,
No, I'm not talking the $60,000.
No, I know. We just had a painting done in the library, and it looks gorgeous.
No, I'm not even going into that. But, and I know you've got a capital request in for for 500, let's say.
Yeah, we're pulling that back.
Yeah, no, I understand you're pulling it back, but you're looking at it as being a capital request instead of an operational request. So there's, as far as I'm aware, you haven't withdrawn it to zero.
I would call it an operations request as opposed to job.
Can't be.
Why?
It won't fly. I will tell you that now. If you're looking, if I'm reading your explanations of sidewalks and gutters and roofs and
Right.
whatever, that's not operational. By any stretch of the imagination, that's not operational.
So maintenance operations are not operations for capital?
Improve significant repair and maintenance. To your point of ceilings and gutters are frozen
Well,
and
I'm
sidewalks
sorry.
crumbling.
I had taken photos, but I did not.
No, I get what's going on up there. I'm not saying it's not happening in all stretch, but all I'm saying is that I would ask you to think about 500 is a big number for a capital request.
Right,
I mean,
but we
you're,
did pull it back.
no. So you haven't submitted anything then for a capital request?
When I spoke to Anne Marie.
Okay.
The board basically decided to do the capital request pretty much a couple of days. There were a lot of things that
Okay.
happened at the library.
Because I don't want to misconstrue
No,
anything
that's
either.
okay.
Just,
Including a ceiling tile falling.
Yeah,
The fire
yeah,
suppression
I mean-
system malfunctioning, our elevator, which is an ADA issue,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And at that point, the request was put in through the library board to ask for capital funds.
okay,
Then, everything transpired, we heard about Board of Education,
okay.
and then they decided, no, we're not going to. But these are things that have had Band-Aids put on.
Oh, no,
And
there's a lot of
also-
Band-Aids, and there's too many Band-Aids in this town. I won't disagree with that
Right,
at all.
and also too, all of our costs are going up.
Sure.
So everything that we have, that we expect to pay for next year.
Yep.
And that's understandable through COVID, book prices are going up, performers are going up, all of this stuff is going up. And we don't wanna ultimately there may be a point when the town will not be able to support the library the way it does, which we hope never happens. But we would not wanna go down to zero on what we have.
No, and I understand that. I think it's more a case of, given economics, as you mentioned, the Board of Ed issue, let's call it, in capital letters underscored.
Right.
All of that considered, maybe it becomes, and I would not expect your trust funds to pay for the whole fix-up of everything that you list in this paragraph. But I think there needs to be some wiggle room. Maybe it's a combination of library in town or whatever.
And I have to say, from
Yeah.
what I've seen,
Let me comment on that.
yes, but can
Sure.
I just say one thing too? The library board paid for the children's room to have, the carpeting done.
Mhm.
The library board is paying, about, 9,000 is taken off of that, about $13,000 for the painting
Yep.
of the building, which has not been painted since 1994.
I
And
don't
that-
disagree with you, honest.
Well, my question is,
Yeah?
why is it expected, the library board of directors cannot take a lot of the funds that we have and use them for building maintenance? My question is, why is it that the library board of directors have to pay for the sign in front of the library? I wanna know who paid for the sign in front of town hall and who paid for the sign in front of the police department? Why is the level of expectation that things that are common for other public
Yep.
buildings in the town, the library is expected to pay?
The question, the only way I can answer that, because I can't tell you who paid for what, but I would direct your question to the finance department and ask them. You've got to,
But I would also.
you've got a
go
right to know
further.
if that's if that's the issue.
Tell me, if I need to go see Doug, okay, then I will gladly do that.
You-
But I do, what I don't understand is if somebody, how come the sidewalk in front of this building looks great and ours is falling apart? So there had to be funds someplace to pay for the sidewalk out front.
Mhm.
Do we have a town trust here for the town here to pay for?
Not that I know of.
I don't think so. We have sidewalk that's broken, that's falling apart, that has been repaired, thank you, Alex. And when somebody falls and we're in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, part of me really would hope that it would be me, because I would definitely sue. Mr. Sawicki, this is
We-
insane.
we
don't
hope-
take care of what we currently have, and yet we have a committee that's looking at building a community center. You can't maintain what you currently have. What's the plan? Build something and then since 1994, not set any budget allocation in? I don't agree with that. That's not proper financial management for the town, nor good for the residents in Seymour.
And may I also say, we are lucky to have the endowments we do. One was given around 1910, and the other one was given
It was
around,
1996 from the Hamlet.
well, no, that was 94, well, 94, 96. But if you read the newspaper article about that and about him dying, why did he give that money? Because he loved the staff, because he loved the library. Every town employee goes very far. I think that, we have unions, but I know every town employee goes over and above what their union expects. But at the library, at the staff, if somebody needs help before COVID, carrying books to the car, we do that. If you need us to, sometimes we'll drop off books, if you want something at Oxford and we'll drop it off to you, or vice versa, so we do go that extra mile, as I agree, all of the town hall employees do. But why are we being penalized for people who said, we're gonna give you our money? I don't
No,
understand.
and I'm only saying it at the perspective, and I don't, the library's a good thing, you gotta have them. And I don't disagree about sidewalks and whatever getting fixed. All I'm saying is, given the financial, I don't wanna say mess, but given the financial situation, if any and all of whatever repairs are so desperate, or whatever that need to be, then it may be something that, in terms of paying for it, if it has to get done, depending on the timeline, immediately or whatever, maybe it becomes something that you'd have to look to your trust fund, not necessarily to pay the whole thing. That would become so much of a, I don't want to say, maybe a negotiation or something, depending again on the costs, because, 500,000, it's a big number. I don't see any specific numbers
Well,
associated.
no, we haven't gotten to that point
We're
yet.
working on developing a strategic plan.
Okay,
We're meeting with the strategic board.
home run.
We have everything mapped out. I threw in 500,000 to get people's attention.
Oh, you got my attention.
Thank you so, well, I know I got
Good
yours,
job.
right?
The elevator
Okay,
itself
but
is a
yeah,
lot of money.
but I just, when I look at the parity of the situation,
Yep.
the parity is baloney. Because you got stuff for town hall, or we bought the lights to match the lights that we had here for Christmas. Who bought the lights over here? Did that come
You
out
got
of
me.
Murray's pocket? I'm just
No,
saying.
and I understand.
We bought lights for the library to be able to match the town because we thought it would make Anne Marie happy to have buildings look the same, right? This is what you're looking for. But to not have care what building it's for. I don't care if it's for the middle school, I don't care if it's for the high school, I don't care if it's for the police department, town works. You need to plan having maintenance costs built into the budget every year. If you don't need them, they roll over. Or if you need someplace to steal from Peter to pay Paul, you have a little bit of a cushion. But to just arbitrarily think, well, we'll put the addition on in 1994 and not make any plans for replacing the concrete. You got new floors here, you got your stairs painted. We don't even have people who can paint, right? I have pictures where ice and water was by the entrance, and we get into a pissing contest every year about, oh no, the gutters are gonna be fine. But when somebody slips and falls, we've had almost every employee in the library over the last 5 years fall. We've been really lucky,
And
there
for
hasn't
maintenance.
been a lawsuit, right? It's like you talk. You wanna be proactive, I don't wanna be reactive. I do not grasp the mentality of any business, and I'll call the town a business, not taking these kinds of things into consideration. I'm sorry. I'm just really emotional
I could
today
tell.
because
Phil, isn't that
I am.
major things with Tim, the building department?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. The fact that you're looking strategic plan-wise is excellent. And strategic planning, hindsight's a great, educator.
Who else spoken to the people that you,
No, I understand.
Doing that whole-
I understand that. Hindsight's great. Should this town have had a strategic plan 20 years ago, more? Yeah. But did they? Everyone knows what this town was like. Okay, and I don't have to say it. Exactly. And now, that's why, the point of view of Band-Aids getting put all over the place, you're absolutely right. And what we're trying to do is, as best we can, balance everybody's needs with what we can do money-wise. From my perspective, and, seeing the 500, caught my attention, so good job. But what has to be done, quite honestly, is depending upon the extent of whatever these numbers are gonna come up to. And if you haven't, I would suggest you get with Tim Connors and start to put something together in terms of dollars. Now, if you have a list, gutters and sidewalks and whatever else, and you have a list to start getting numbers. Because we can sit here, we can sit here and say, it's 500. It could be 750, could be 150. What's needed is put it all down on paper.
well, then, I think I did put something in
And-
when I was saying that would come.
Well, that's fine, because that's the backbone of a capital budget. Because if you don't have any if you don't have any specifics, all you got is a bunch of wish lists trying to put together.
Well, our plan is to put it together, prioritize what needs to be done, and set it up so that, I'm just gonna say, for instance, if in fact the 500,000 was real, that it's planned out for the next 5,
Yeah,
7, 8
that's
years,
fine.
not with the level of expectation, like, okay, yeah, I need this money tomorrow. So that's our vision of what we're planning
And
to do.
good to know, because that somewhat negates my commentary of take it out of the trust fund. Because I think down the road, again, depending on your timing and the continued erosion or buildup of these problems, I don't know how else to say it, depending upon what that timing does, it may end up part trust fund, part town, depending upon how much and when things got to get fixed.
We're open to grants too.
Oh, no question. Anywhere you can get a,
That was here a few years ago, that was a matching grant, part of it.
yeah, anywhere you can get a dollar that doesn't belong to the taxpayer, I'm all for it. And I think everybody else is for it too. So, like I said, I'm not taking, cutting the legs out from repair and maintenance, but reading what you have here, this all looks like capital stuff. And I think in your reference to your comment about strategic plan, absolutely. Put it together, put numbers to categories, prioritize it, and then let's see.
Give us a month or two.
And
Yeah.
can I ask
Sure.
for you to reiterate the operational
Yeah,
That's my question.
yeah, operations versus capital. If you're doing if you're doing things that will extend the life of something, like a building or a piece of equipment or whatever, that's for all purposes a capital expense. You know, new gutters, a new roof, a new whatever. If you're doing normal maintenance, because most departments in this town, it falls under facilities for maintenance, to fix, you know, a door, a window, a floor, whatever it may
We
be.
don't even have that line.
No, no, no.
And
I un-
even though I know.
I understand that.
When it comes to the gutters,
But-
we did
but-
try to get those fixed.
But what I would tell you is to stay in contact with Tim Connors,
Sure, we sent him pictures. and
who's the
photos.
facilities guy.
Yep.
There may be, quote unquote, maybe, there may be some maintenance items that can get done under maintenance, under operational money. But again, it depends
I mean,
what and how
ultimately-
much.
Right, and ultimately, we had hoped that they might be, the gutters might have been cleaned, and I did ask about that in September, and they told me I asked too early.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, for the leaves to come in, and that may be why we have the spillover.
It could be. I mean, if your gutters fill up, yeah, I mean, that's always possible. But those are the kinds of things, and it's somewhat of a fine line between what's operating and what's capital. And sometimes it's really clear, and other times it's a coin toss. And, you know, again, it depends, to your point, about making a list of what's needed. Put it down, put prices next to it, go out and get whatever,
And then,
and see where we are. And then then the town can take an intelligent look at it and say, okay, we've got this versus that, and let's see. Right.
and list whether it's operational.
Yeah,
Ju-
Bill,
yeah.
List that as, I'm sorry, I was
No, go
being
ahead.
too quiet with, just list the differences. We all think it's operational, it's the library. But to Bill's
operation
point,
of something that is longevity, that would last for,
Capital is what's longevity will last.
capital is longevity. So-
Operation would be if your furnace sprung a leak and you had to get it fixed and you needed a new one real quick.
Or the elevator broke again.
Or yeah, the elevator broke with somebody inside it, you know, that's,
It's
you had
not
to get
the
it
s-
fixed.
It's not the sidewalk aspect and
But,
things.
but again, you know, fixing the elevator so it works is different than just wholesale replacement of the elevator, which is a big dollar.
But I mean, if you look at it, the fact that sooner or later it's coming.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Well, it's
Not,
94.
not saying it's not gonna happen.
It's not, yeah.
But,
and
you know,
I mean,
to
the
buy a
life
new velo,
expectancy
you know,
is-
a new elevator is absolutely capital, not a question.
Well, that is something that,
Yeah.
because it's an ADA issue, we could probably get a matching fund.
Yeah,
Well, that
we'll
was
take it.
another thing.
You know,
Hopefully go
any
for it.
outside sources that can come in and help, not just your department, but any department, you know, we'd start applauding.
Yeah.
The more
And
we
if
can
it's
get.
Listed separately, it can even be a question mark. Is
Yeah.
this operational or is this capital?
Yeah.
Real simple.
Yeah, but you know, as I said, get with Tim, start the ball rolling, and, you know, see where we go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
thank you for explaining.
Okay. Any other questions for the library? No? Okay. We've got,
No, it was good, thank you.
let's see. We've got, the tax collector. Uh-oh.
Oh, girlfriend, I'm gonna come see you tomorrow.
Mine are paid, and I remembered to sign my check. But besides that, we got number 21 in our notebook, which is divisible by 7, for whatever reason.
Bye, guys, thank you, guys.
Good night, thank you.
Night, drive safe.
Thank you, you all too.
Dave Clark, tax collector. First item, salary.
You gotta get paid. I just thought I'd ask.
Damn.
I-
Per contract.
Yep.
The increase on my assistant is due to the fact that she is new and she's going to the step levels. Last year we decreased it because we went from January through June and we would not be having, the other person in there.
Oh, okay.
That's what we reduced it because of the new contract.
So her regular salary, I would say per contract, is 57,1?
That's
Okay.
what it should be, because she's gonna get a step in July and then another step in May, I believe.
Okay,
You know,
that's fine.
I calculated it out, I think.
All right.
That I knew how to next.
No, I trust your numbers, that's fine.
And, okay, so, back to the comments on the library, with their increasing their $500,000 for things. They need to come see the tax office to see what taxpayers would like to see, not having their taxes raised for those not millings.
Now, we're gonna try to keep this civil. Anyway,
I'm just saying that's part of the picture, but if they get the grants and stuff like that, that works.
I love grants.
So thank you. The next one would be the education. That is an increase due to the fact that my assistant is taking classes.
Okay.
And
Education doesn't hurt.
I had $400 in there for 2 classes, that was fall and spring class at 200. They have now increased it to 300.
Inflation.
So I don't have that in there.
What are you gonna do?
Yay.
We could probably make it because sometimes, we have the seminar in there that I put up to 700. That is at 700 this year. I don't know what it will be next year. Sometimes I don't do it, sometimes I've never gone, but they've offered online classes or online or computer course that we can go to those instead of staying over. So that.
I would tell you in terms of education, anything that makes your job easier, smarter, more efficient, do it.
So that's why that's increasing, but technically that should go up another 200 than what we have on here.
Do you want it to go up 200? Because we're only in the deliberation
Yeah, we
stages.
can put it in there.
Hey, Doug?
If we have to cut it, we cut it. So add 200 more for that. She has 72 classes and they are 300 now.
The line item, 350 under the tax collector, instead of 1650, make it 1850?
And the classes are hard to get into. I mean, class 1, they actually did 2 classes with people in them.
Yeah.
This, for class 2, they limited it to 18 only. And we were able to get into that.
Wow.
And then they dropped it, you're not allowed input.
Well, yeah, once it's closed up, it's closed up.
So, we jump on that right away.
Okay,
And, should we take it, start in the second class? She
okay.
passed the first one very good, and then she's doing very well, which is good. Okay, so then the next one would be,
Here we go again. No.
There we go.
Who's on first? I don't know, third base.
So other purchase services.
Yep.
That's our computer stuff with, quality data.
They're not going up?
They went up technically, but what they did is their overall bill was down because they took, when we get the bills printed,
Mm-hmm.
we've always had the banks print, people with banks.
Yeah.
And they don't like to print for whatever reason. We always had them because we liked them.
They don't like to print
Well,
them?
they don't mind printing, but they say it's not cost effective, because all we can do is, we've always had them printed, and we actually just end up throwing them out if they're with the bank.
Because the bank gets one big list of
It
people.
was a big thing, and
Yeah.
they get the files. And what we use them for is to check, see if, say, somebody, paid off their mortgage. So we would go to that bank pile and take it and mail that bill out. We can just generate another bill.
Okay,
So it does say.
that's, we'll leave it to
it's
your
something-
discretion. You
it's
know what you're
something
doing.
that we don't, they've been trying to tell us we don't need it, and I've been trying to adjust to that, and technically, we don't really need it.
Well, if you're, if you're comfortable without it, okay
Yeah.
with me, honest.
So, and then there's one thing that we reduced the water, they had the water bills in it, which was minor, that we're done with that water, assessment. So that's why there's a little bit
Okay.
of increase and then decrease on that, and then the copier cost, so I didn't ask for anything more, and there again, if you need to tweak something, in time, we can make you to tweak if we have. And the communications and phones is something that's there,
Is it
annual cost, they tell me.
is it a legit bill? I mean, is that the
I've never
cost?
seen it. It comes through finance and Tony, but it's something that's always been there,
Doug,
so.
we have $700 that says communications and telephone?
Where does that come from?
Yeah, that's to help pay for your
Phone?
line, yeah.
Okay.
We allocate it out. We're working with Rob to possibly consolidate all the communication lines so that they're all under his budget for all the phones.
So,
That's the allocation for her line.
so, wait a minute. If, in this budget that we're talking about, are we gonna have under Rob's department, let's call it, telephone for the whole town?
We're discussing it. They were discussing it today, Anne Marie, Rob, and Lori were.
Are we gonna have, he mentioned your name.
Lori, he said Lori.
Oh, I thought he said Lori.
Oh,
Oh,
Lori.
forget I said anything. So, well, I'd like, when is the decision gonna be made on this?
They haven't made it yet, and I can talk to them again tomorrow, and find out what the.
Find out what's going on, because I'll tell you now, it should end up under IT.
Okay.
And if that's the case, all of the departments that have phone costs like this, cops, tax collector, assessor, become zero.
I thought they were gonna do that, Bill.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
That was months ago.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
months ago.
So
That was
let's not sit on this, and, we'll get the stuff squared away. Hey, Lori, in case he forgets, remind me. Thank you. No, that's a big deal, because where we can consolidate departments and avoid duplication and like bad estimates. Now, the best example is, for years, that $150 the police department was carrying. I mean, it's only $150, but come on, it doesn't exist.
That
So,
was-
yeah.
That was addressed months ago.
That's something to look at. I'll put a question mark
I'll
by
find my
it.
minutes on that. That was addressed months ago. If that was all gonna be consolidated. And I think it was, I'll find my minutes on that.
Okay, travel.
Travel is travel, it's, mileage reimbursements, go to the bank, deposits are made, state, county, tax meetings, seminars.
Okay.
Trips to quality data or to,
Where's quality data?
where is it, to Morgan?
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Okay.
Sometimes we have to go down to, shop to the corporate data, if they can't get a driver up and we need to
Yeah.
get the statements done, we run it down.
Okay.
And then, but I didn't ask for any other increases except for education and the salary, and the general supplies is the same, the postage, I think they went up this year too, or did postage go up this year? This year. Our post, yeah, no, postage did go up.
Do we have any kind of bulk rate or anything when we send our stuff out?
From here, yes.
Yeah,
It
okay.
goes to 53, 59.
Wow.
Yeah, and but when we send it
6
to
cents.
corporate, mailing, they do it for us, and then they have a reduced rate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just wondering.
That's why we go to corporate rate.
59?
Well, that's what the normal is, I think, that's what the normal.
Yeah, something like that.
Right, I think corporate mailing is 47 or something.
Okay, so I forget what it is, I have it upstairs. Why didn't we get
Huh?
43, I think?
It may be 43 or 47, I can't remember what we paid.
Keep
last
talking,
week.
it'll go down more.
No, I know we pay it
It's
as you
still
offer,
crazy.
and
I can see it
but we
upstairs
do a
if I
lot
have
of
it.
volume, I don't know.
Yeah, but
It
they.
You get it to
depends on the
25
volume.
cents? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it depends on the volume that you have.
It's
I
worth it.
digress.
It's worth it for us.
Well, yeah,
to
no
have them,
kidding.
And they come and pick it up.
How many, how many bills do you mail out? Yeah, roughly.
Over 25,000 in July.
Yeah, so you figure if you
We
save,
sent out over 200 weight statements. Well, it's fun for this week, the full moon.
wasn't mine. Anyway,
We're having lots of fun with this.
but no, I mean, if you got 25,000
That's
and you
insane.
save a dime each, I mean, it's $2,500.
Well, the quality is they have the club bills for the cars, if you have more than one
Yeah.
car, it goes on to one bill. But, when we do, we go through all the bills.
Yeah.
And if it's got John and Jane,
Yeah,
and then Jane and John, we stuff those into the same.
Why not?
envelope
Yeah.
And then save on that.
same
too.
address, yeah.
Right, it's the exact same address and stuff, so we do that, we do the late statements, we go through.
Cool.
As quality, we can print the late statements, because quality wants to do it, but I haven't been comfy cozy with them that they'd be saving us that much. Because they wanna just print it from our files, because we know our people, we know what we're doing with this stuff, and we would rather go through it ourselves, and then send it back to court.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, whatever gets the job done,
Yeah,
at the best rate.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Questions? No, they're not bad. We were ahead, January, it looks like we're lower than we were last year, but then we had February 1st, so I can't really tell.
Yeah, no, and that makes
We
sense.
won't know until more, until next month, I think, we will know more.
I paid. But anyway,
So
We
did I.
got you covered, you're good.
thank you. Yeah.
Any questions?
You make refunds? No, never mind. Any questions for the tax collector?
I-
Go ahead,
I had one.
go ahead.
It had to do with deceased, bankruptcies,
Yep.
what we chase, what we don't chase,
Mhm.
and why.
Okay, bankruptcies, that has to go to bankruptcy reports, if they are discharged,
Mm-hmm.
you can't touch that, that's, the discharge is for that time period and stuff, I gotta go for everything forward. Deceased, I'm gonna modify my suspense list, because when I have to come, make a special trip next week to come to see that.
Oh, it's week after,
Huh?
Weekend.
week
So
after
it's
that.
the 22nd, which is next week.
What?
Because it's after the, I wanted to.
No, it's the 29th.
Regular meeting's 22nd, I think.
Is it?
22nd.
22,
Monday,
15,
the fourth Monday.
8,
Tuesday.
yeah, you're right.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
'Cause I wanted to take.
See?
I wanted to
There you
take the
go.
Good
day
thing.
off,
February
so I decided to
22nd.
come see you, 'cause it's
February
gonna be a long weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, so that we
Shows
were
you what I
discussing
know.
that, which was, so that was
I just
really my
haven't had
question.
the-
How do we address
list
that?
right
Because
Good work. Don't leave
any
me.
other bill outside of the town,
So now we're gone.
someone dies,
I
they
got
still
meetings
get the
3
money.
nights next week.
So the tax for deceased,
Remember
Oh, no,
last year,
Monday.
too,
we try to collect, we send it to
Dave
whoever
Sal
the
or Dave Sawicki?
Excuse
Or
me.
the informant, we go down and we get a copy, most of the time we'll get a copy of the,
I'll call you back. I'm sorry. It's my granddaughter.
It's nice. We go to the town clerks and look at the death notice, and see where the inform is, and we change the address to that. We flag it at E&D, which helps, but sometimes doesn't help, because sometimes when they'll sell the cars, we check probate. If they're with probate, I send a statement to probate. We're having less and less people paying on deceased, and then we'll go to motor vehicles to see if they got rid of the car, if they cancel the plates. If they cancel the plates, we can get it adjusted, so it makes it lower, but it's still, we can't get it. You know, I mean,
And that has to do with the house as well,
the house, if they die,
and the property, yeah.
well, that definitely, if they own the house, and unless the mortgage, see, now I had one today, I got a nasty email, about why we're sending the tax bill, we expect them to pay their brother-in-law's debt, my wife's brother died, why do you expect us to pay? And, so lo and behold, he has a house, it's being paid, so I'm assuming and I said, she's the informant, so I naturally sent it to her. I did not know the estate was insolvent. So therefore, I will code it deceased, and we will go and get a bill generated. The bank owns the house. So, and I checked with probate multiple times, there was no probate, so they got no money, and the house
Yeah,
ends up with
that's
the
it.
mortgage fund.
And we're just
The bank.
dead in the water.
Yes,
Pretty much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's a good phrase,
Just like-
dead in the water.
I didn't mean to say dead in the water, I apologize, don't write that down, Monica.
Just like entertainment citizens.
Yeah.
39,000 of them died, and I did not know that they were leaving.
And we didn't get any cassettes or DVDs out of it, nothing.
We didn't get any dust balls, or pop
Hey Doug, next Monday's
I can't wait to
holiday?
hand my house over.
We're closed, no meetings. Gotcha.
Monday's closed, yes,
That's
so
what
we
I
are
think.
meeting Tuesday, the 22nd.
What is Monday?
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
So I was correct,
Yeah,
What is Monday?
President's Day.
Agenda tomorrow.
Yeah,
Put it
President's
on the
Day.
agenda, and I will give you an updated.
So I only got
know
2
it's
meetings
66
next week.
66,000
Oh,
something.
God.
Was,
Good thing
something
you
that I
said
do have
something. I'd have been
a
here to
couple more
29.
confirmed Dead people that I won't, and people open up the mail to the dead people, and they'll either write deceased on it, or they'll write dead and their date on it, and they do. I mean, there's not much more I can do.
No,
to
I
try to
mean-
protect them. If they're technically sending it from, the wasting postage back and forth, and if you're telling them that they owe. All I can do is block the car from being.
Yeah, and that's it.
registered and have it adjusted.
And that's it.
And I wish DMV would, if there's any taxes owed on a car, that they wouldn't, you gotta get
Like
registered.
so, yeah.
But that doesn't happen that often. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
So,
It's a difficult.
Okay.
all right, and I appreciate that, and thank you for that.
Oh, no, not a problem.
No,
Not
because
a problem.
it's hard, you know, I mean, and sometimes, sometimes they will pay, and sometimes you will get the, I just got one that I demanded her back in September or something, like that. She was gonna pay in November, didn't, but she just paid her mother's, and that was out of state unit, so that was like, good, you know, but there's some of them that you just can't get. And there's some probates that are still open, never been closed.
Oh, they're probably open for years.
Oh, yeah, and we don't get nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and we have a few properties that we've given to the county attorney to do foreclosures on the houses too, because we're not getting anybody with some of the stuff. So they,
That's it.
And it may be a question for me with you later.
Okay,
You only do so much, right? Your hands are tied.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
it's not like
try,
you,
we try, we make phone calls, we, you know, we.
it's not like you can show up with a backhoe over the deceased or
We
anything.
do the, you know, we do the best we
Yeah.
can. We have a few,
No, I think all in all, the board has been, I think I speak for the board, the board's very pleased with your efforts. I mean, yeah, the money, the numbers that are coming in, the money you're collecting from the town, you can only do what you can do.
we have, I
you
think,
know.
phone calls again this month and telling people that, you know, we will be losing, you know, it's gonna go to foreclosure at the end of the month, if we don't do anything. We do have, we're waiting on a property, to be closed, that's another 30,000 or 40,000 back taxes that we'll be getting.
Nice.
Before June, hopefully, they were supposed to close then, but they got a probate issue, probate was open, and they got open.
That happens, yeah.
And then, well, the husband died, then the son died, and now it's the mother, and it's, yeah, but we are, you know, in contact with them, and hopefully it will,
Yeah.
you know, get stuff going.
Okay.
Well, your efforts are greatly
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana.
Next up is the town clerk, except that obviously she's on leave. And in here, we just, yeah, I have a newborn and a toddler, so I will just tab 22 in our notebook. It looks fairly, you know, there's not a lot here. The salaries are 2.49 for her. And her regular employees, they had some changes to the contract, I guess. Is she
Oh,
Ta-
he's asking
let's
for
see,
an
for, I
increase,
went
or-
exactly by the for Veronica's salary, I'm proposing she get the same rate of pay as the assistant tax collector and assistant. Oh, so there's one employee, 58,504? That's for her assistant town clerk. Okay.
She's certified now, so she wants her with the other certified.
Are there steps?
There
Or
are steps.
anything like that? Okay. Yeah, town clerk has always been a going all the way back to Richard Pearson. I remember Mr. Pearson, just dates me. Da-da-da-da-da. I have, okay, well, I mean, this is obviously something when yeah, I mean, it's roughly 90 cents behind the assistant assessor, 90
Yeah.
cents behind an hour, you know, so. But since there's no one to talk to tonight, there's nobody, we can ask questions of. The only thing I would say is before deliberations start, which is until the end of the month, take a read through, and if you have any questions, we'll chat when they come up. We're not here. Let's see. We're not here Monday. I got that right, correct? Yeah. We're not here Monday. And we got fire department, fire marshal, communications, and recreation.
Oh, boy.
Zippity doo dah, zippity a. And that's Wednesday. I'm excited thinking about it. Oh, that's it's Lori Matasovich. She's in the finance department.
I know. So you're just here helping out.
Pitching in, helping out, being a good sport, killing time, whatever you want to say. Ah, okay, and then we're off until the following Wednesday, tax assessor, registrar, building, culture, finance department, town revenues.
So we have a regular meeting on Tuesday.
Yes, we do now.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
I found that out.
Which one?
Our
Next
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday is our regular Board of Finance meeting. Don't blame me, blame Jim, he had it on his calendar.
I have the calendar right here.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been here, I'd have forgotten about it. I'd have been home doing something, watching basketball or something. Well, clearly I'm not gonna be doing it that night. All right, well, I guess, having had enough fun with the library tonight,
Hey, wasn't that all, they had all those meetings and they had all these building building repairs and all, for all the town buildings, and that was Tim's.
We're, hey, Monica, we're adjourned, so you can shut the
Oh, yeah,
recorder
don't-
off.
Don't, do not record this.
We need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. 7:55. Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest travesties that I can say for this town, it's 3 words: pick low bid. Because when they did that with these buildings, this one, the police station, the library, I wasn't on the committee when they did it, but my first night at the meeting, when I sat down in the corner, I just asked the question: how did, we pick who we picked to, do the construction? Because they were like, oh, Christ, they were a year and a half better into the whole job, and they were almost finished.
Remember the problems they had?
And I said, how did we happen to pick who we picked? Because there was all kinds of problems and everything. And the question, and the answer was, well, they had